So, just FYI, this presentation will be uploaded to my Odyssey channel and all other channels. So, without further ado, let me begin. I titled this The Art of Not Interrupting People. Actually, can you guys tell me if you guys can hear my headphones rubbing against my shirt or my fan?
That sounds pretty good at the moment.
All right, thank you. So, a much needed presentation. Government is slavery. All right. So, my struggles with interrupting people. Last night, I was on a live call-in show with James Cordner, who is his show is A Hitchhiker's Guide to Truth. And I interrupted him, and I just got this feeling of shame. And I knew I've had past experiences where I've interrupted people and they've got pretty mad at me, but I just figured, hey, it's not really a big deal. But, I took matters into my own hands to really consider this and to just stop doing it because I don't want to feel that way. So I figured, you know what, let me make a presentation about it and hopefully you'll gain some insight into what I did. So I'll share a quote by Mark Passio. Willful ignorance in the presence of knowledge is the measure of a bad person. So this goes hand in hand with people that refuse to accept knowledge given to them, such as conspiracies, etc. So I just wanted to tie that in here because this is a big topic and it's important. All right. And here is a video of Mark beginning his natural law seminar. And since my last presentation got good feedback on the videos, I said, you know what? Let me insert this one here. It takes about 2 minutes.
Every person here today who wishes to take real world value, practical value from this seminar here today, I'm going to ask them to make a deliberate and conscious effort to do two things. The first is try to set aside, to the extent that you are capable of doing so, your perceptions of me as the presenter, okay? And this includes things like how you think I look, how you think I dress, the sound of my voice, my mannerisms, etc. Try to set those things aside to the extent that you're able to do it. And I know that's difficult for some. And I say this because paying attention to such trivialities will detract your own mental focus away from the information that is being presented today. And that's the worst thing that could happen, because it's the information that is important, not me. Try to ignore me and focus on the content. All right? The second thing I ask people to try to do is to be consciously aware of any of your own impulses that you may have here today, to immediately reject the information that is being presented in this seminar based solely upon your own initial emotional reaction, your initial emotional response to this information, okay? This is a logical fallacy, okay? You cannot think with the emotions. So if you hear something you don't like or that angers you, that's okay. Feel the emotion. But don't just immediately say, that can't be true. And don't believe me either. It's about checking it. It's about a process of truth discovery. It's about doing your own due diligence and actually researching this material. Okay? But if you try to gauge the veracity, meaning the truthfulness of this information, solely based upon how it makes you feel when hearing it, you are committing a logical fallacy. Okay? So I ask people to try as much as possible to suspend immediate reactions of disbelief okay? And saying, no, I don't want to accept that, no, it can't be true, based on how something may make you feel that you hear today. That's very important to keep in mind.
Moving along, I will go over the causes of interrupting people, how to stop interrupting people, and the benefits. All right, here is a definition of impulsivity, or impulsive behavior is broadly defined as actions without foresight that are poorly conceived, prematurely expressed, unnecessarily risky, and inappropriate to the situation. Impulsivity is associated with undesirable rather than desirable outcomes. Impulsivity is a characteristic of a number of mental health conditions, including borderline personality disorder. I'm not really going to get into that. People who experience impulsivity may make hasty decisions, get into arguments, and engage in risky behaviors. In addition to undermining relationships and a person's overall sense of well-being, impulsive behaviors can also lead to financial and legal harm if left unchecked. Fortunately, there are treatments that can help bring impulsivity under control, including psychotherapy, mindfulness training, and yeah, I'm not going to read that. Okay. So causes of interrupting other people. From my own experience, I feel I won't have time to say it later, or I will forget. And there's also many other causes, like we just talked about impulsivity. So just short and sweet, I'll move on to how to stop interrupting other people. Meditation. It's in my own experience, the mind chatter, that monkey that just is running like super fast. And I realized meditation and breath work can help restore, calm down, like lower your blood pressure and be present. And then, as we all know, we're in sales. So the 80-20 rule is you're 80% listening, and then 20% of that time you are talking and paying attention, focusing. So as Richard likes to say, we are very wealthy when it comes to how much attention we can bring and that we have. And if you have a thought that is extremely important, or if I have a thought that's extremely important, another thing that Richard likes to talk about is to write it down on an index card or on a piece of paper or just on your cell phone, but make sure you write it down. And that will help you to stay present and listen to what the other person is saying. And focus on one task at hand. So if I decide to play video games while I'm listening to you guys speak, I may not be getting the full picture. And practice. So absolutely practice, be kind to yourself. Don't judge others. Don't judge yourself. Just have an awareness that, oh, I want to interrupt, and then let it go. And what I learned in the video was how I should come into a conversation thinking I have a lot to gain from what this person is saying. And another thing I learned from a video was that I might have some great ideas that come up like fast. And how it's like incredible that we don't interrupt each other more frequently. But another thing I learned was principles. So for example, principles over interrupting, I guess. So just by the fact that I may be listening, that is more valuable than what I have to share. So let me talk about benefits. I would argue that if you don't interrupt people, you can have a conversation instead of a monologue. You won't have to deal with shame and focus on higher use of your time and be happier. And then a bonus, how to stop people from interrupting you. I found this short from Jordan Peterson very, very interesting. So I will share it with you guys.
If people are not listening to you, stop talking to them. That is the best piece of advice that I can give you. And what happens is that if you stop talking to people who aren't listening to you and start watching them instead, they will tell you what they're up to. But so if you have things to say them, but you find people that will listen, talk to them. The ones who aren't listening, pull back, because you're devaluing what you have to say by offering it to an audience that does nothing but reject it.
Right. Government is slavery. Thank you for listening, y'all.